Hello and welcome to None of Your Business, the podcast that takes a lighthearted look at life outside of work. My name is Nick Pearce, and joining me today is the recently appointed captain of the North Melbourne Football Club, Nick Larkey, or Pearce. I highly recommend watching this on video because his art is absolutely incredible, and we focus on his life as an artist outside of football, his love of all things travel, his impressions and his impersonations and his ideation process, and his love of family and giving back. Hope you enjoyed the episode.
So where's the office, back in division?
In the office, baby.
None of your business. None of your business. None of your business. None of your business.
Welcome to None of Your Business, the podcast that takes a look at life outside of work. My name is Nick Pearce, co-founder but former CEO of Homey and now stay-at-home dad full-time. Joining me today is perhaps the most likeable, friendliest guy in footy. He's the very well-deserved recently appointed captain of North Melbourne Footy Club, the Kangas. I love that chant. Yes. And he's also a 2023 All-Australian, 71 goals that season.
Yep.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And just bear with me, but I want to read your Insta bio because the whole premise is we want to focus on life outside of work.
Yeah.
And you've encapsulated it beautifully. Usually I do a deep dive, but you've got footy, camping, painting, sinking. What's sinking? Is that drinking beers?
Yeah, a few beers. Every now and then.
Yarning's just like talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, and ranging off Lark work, which is obviously speaks for itself, our background, which I'm looking forward to speaking to you about. But my first question, which has sort of been in the back of my head since you said yes to this program, sort of, is are you a chicken, lamb or mixed kind of guy?
Oh, this is the hard-hitting questions first, Piercy. First of all, thanks for having us, guys. Yeah, it's a pleasure to jump on. I'm a mixed man. Mixed man, yeah.
Okay.
I like a bit of both. It's important to get chicken in there.
The protein and a bit of fatty content as well.
Yeah. Just a mix of flavours is important.
Lovely. Best of both worlds.
Yeah, we got that out of the way.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, there is, if you're ever inclined, near our old work, Homey in Brunswick Street, there's like a souvlaki joint, which they do a souvlaki pizza. So after a light out, it's like Lambs on Brunswick, I think it's called.
Oh, yeah,
but
Lambs. Lambs is good.
Mate, it's unbelievable.
I've been there, but I haven't tried the pizza.
So after you've done your sinking.
How late are they?
It's a late night operator, but after you've done your sinking, what you do is you go there and they shave off straight onto the pizza. You see the fat drip off and you just see it sizzle under the stove. So that's my top tip.
Yeah.
But I'd like to ask you first and foremost, outside of that, tell us a bit about where we are today and this beautiful backdrop.
Yeah, well, it's a bit of a grungy feel in here. This is my garage. So, the house is modest in size. So, obviously, I like to do a bit of painting here and there, a few different things. So, I need somewhere to store everything.
Yeah.
And a little studio space I've used it for at the moment. Got a little ad hoc gym, which you're sitting on the bench.
Just give it a bit of dust in the pants. Might have to wash after this, but that's all right.
I know. Sorry about that. We just finished off a little reno. So, it had been chock full of all the stuff from the house in here, but finally got to clear it out. And I haven't been painting for a while, but this is where all the magic happens outside of footy, really. Yeah, don't spend a heap of time in here, but when I do, it's just a good space to, slip away and, do some stuff away from footy, which I get a real kick out of and enjoyment from.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is painting, but there's plenty of room for activities in here. But I'd love to fit more and more stuff, but there's only a limited amount of space. So, at the moment, that's what it's used for.
No, it's a beautiful space, and it does reflect, I think, as you say, your life. You've got the wetsuits, you've got the artwork, you've got the camping gear, so it really encapsulates that. And when I was sort of thinking about doing this program, you were almost like a prototype of who I'd love to speak to, because I feel like you've got that wonderful balance between you have this amazing career, which is hopefully only going to get better and better. Want to talk about your first game as well, if that's okay. But you also seem to have this right sort of balance between work and life outside of work, and you've got these really constructive outlets, and you're obviously very talented. I mean, I don't know many people who are amazing athletes as well as artists, so it's a beautiful blend. But I'd love to talk a bit about the art, if that's okay, and sort of how that came about, because I reckon we were at school, the same school. can't remember crossing over, but I remember hearing about, Nick Larkey would always be in the art room at lunchtime, etc. And that you weren't kicking a footy on the oval, you were actually, working in the, what was the building called? I can't remember. Was it the Shan or something?
Something. I can't remember what the building's called. But we had a great art teacher, Mr. Waller.
Yes.
John Waller? John Waller, yeah.
Yes.
And he was brilliant just to give you a creative license to do what you want. And he really just facilitated it so well. Like let the boys sort of do what they wanted instead of it had to be a fixed sort of way. And I had a couple of great mates as well who just happened to enjoy art as well, which helped. And the other thing that helps is the Trinity art budget. They don't they're not stingy when it comes to budgeting from pastels. It. So like they had all the kit there, which is unreal. And so this painting behind me is actually from year 12.
No
so
way.
I did it in year 12.
Wow.
And another one next to it was actually of Anthony McDonald, Tip and Woody. And one of my good mates from school was his favourite player and gave it to him for his 18th. But alongside each other, it's a similar sort of, I did them together.
Yep.
So it's the same size, same background and sort of thing. And that together they looked really good. But yeah, this one's stuck around. But yeah, it is one of my more favourite, one of the better ones I think I've done just for the size of it. But I always had, I don't know, I think it really stemmed from mid-high school where I started to really enjoy art a bit more. I had a mate, Zach Bunston. I reckon you would have been mates
brothers
with
Jake.
His older brother, Jake.
That's cool,
and he was right into his graffiti. He's actually an architect now. He's done a 180, so he's a bit more politically correct these days.
He's now building the buildings he used to be.
He was a bit looser on the graffiti side of things, but I always loved that, and I reckon a lot of his art actually inspired me early to see it as something that's like it can be a cool thing as well. Like early days when you're growing up, I feel like a lot of there's like a stereotype around art and how it's a little bit different and edgy. And when you're trying to find your feet growing up, that certainly played on my mind a bit. But I think it was actually, that, someone like Zach who was, like a great fella at school and a popular kid, but he, did his art in that way. And I think that inspired me there. And then from there, I just dived right into it at school because it's really like inside, it's really what gave me a lot of enjoyment, like love doing it because you slip into a space in your mind where really time does get away from you, and you can be doing it for hours. I love doing it, music in the background, and you're in your element, and it's like that sort of form of mindfulness without trying to manufacture anything. It just comes really natural. So that's what I always loved about it. But I haven't put together a body of work. I'd love to one day.
It looks pretty impressive to me. Even, I mean, how long would something like this take? Like, I mean, did it take you to do with alongside the Anthony McDonald, Tip and Woody?
Well, these ones, like this one, you don't really think about it too much. I had an image literally off Google. It's not of anyone in particular. Okay. It's just Indigenous farmer.
Yep.
And just like a great face. The face looked like it told a good story.
Yeah.
I suppose this is a more like they call like impasto work. So a lot of the lines on it are done with a palette knife, rather than brushstrokes. But some's brushstrokes. His beard was all brushstroke, and the background. But and just not thinking about it too much. When I get the dimensions of the face right, and it looks like a face, then just having a bit of fun with what colours you think you can put in, little things you pick up in the image you're painting, and it's just a form of expression, really, I guess. And so that's the finished product. Those ones I enjoy more. A lot of the art I've done recently is for mates or whatever. So
I saw is it Donald Duck you did on the
Donald Duck. But then I enjoy the commissions where they're like you just have free reign to sort of do. They give you a sort of brief idea. She's wanted a bit of colour in his artwork, and so he's like, you can do whatever you want. And then I was trying to get the right thing for She's, and at the end of the day, I just ended up doing that Donald Duck face. It just felt right, something like that, and it came up well. So the more you back in, trust your instinct on art, I've found that is your type of art, that is your expression, rather than trying to get it perfect. So some people obviously like, can you do a Kobe Bryant or LeBron for me? And I can do it, but it's not what I truly like enjoy about art, because you have to get it really perfectly looking like him. Whereas
your
harder
version.
to put the artist spin on ones like that. When you may as well just get a poster if you want Kobe.
Yeah, I like that idea, like sort of being in flow, and it's just, as you say, like sort of the artist's interpretation or impression. I think that's, as you say, far more telling and kind of special as a piece. So we might have to work on a commission piece for
absolutely
our place. What do you go for? What are the rates? No, I need you.
Rates.
You can bleep that bit out.
Boys,
but
you look after the team boys.
Great man. But like, when did you discover? I guess so. Footy, I feel like it sort of came on for you a little bit later on in the picture. Sort of, I guess, on those sort of traditional pathways that people have in terms of the TAC Cup and all that kind of stuff. But I know you played under 18s charges and whatnot. And then obviously you're also doing the art at the same time. So multi-talented. But if you wouldn't mind taking us back to game one, and I want to get back into the art a little bit. But, sort of that time in your life, how old were you? 18?
I was just turned 19, I think.
Just turned 19.
Yeah, 'cause it would have been just after June, I reckon.
And put you in Marvel Stadium, game 1?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going there tonight for Ed Sheeran, which I'm very pumped about. I was telling you a bit
That'd
about
be
some of
good,
his
yeah.
artwork. But so I remember my little brother told me this story via the kid, your brother Ant, that you had the whole turnout, the whole family was there. Is that right? You had the full clan.
Oh, everyone.
Extended.
Yeah.
And you played against, was it the Dons?
The Dons.
I feel like you were busy, like you were everywhere, and the ball was coming to you, but the stat sheet wasn't stuff that day, it's fair to say.
Nah, Brad Scott said it's the best zero disposal game he's ever seen in his life. So
Presented.
That's worth something.
Bring the ball down for the crumbers.
Yeah, exactly. Got my hands to a lot of ball. I mean, I touched it, I reckon, 8 times.
Yeah.
But it's well documented, but I reckon there were about 3 or 4 drop marks. I could have taken an advantage late in the third, and then there was just no one ahead of the field. So I was like, I had to give the ball back to Brownie. It was like no one knew. But you're thinking everyone, I mean, that's the thing. So in your first game, obviously, everyone who's helped you get to that journey or followed your pathway to the AFL is watching because they want to see how you go. So it felt like the whole limelight was on you for that moment. And yeah, like you said, we had the family in the room after the games there. They're just the most supportive family. Like,
they're the best.
Not just my close family, but my extended family as well.
Yeah.
And they were all in the rooms. They come in with sort of smiles, and you could see they were just treading on each other. They didn't know what to sort of how to approach it because obviously everyone knows I didn't touch the ball.
Yeah, objective truth.
Yeah, but
what was the quote? Because Lockie was telling me, I remember he works at the end on these 2 guarding together, and you came in and said, was it like that was shit out?
Yeah, it was like, I think it was James Larkey. He's my cousin first round, and he's just like, oh, well done. He goes, unreal. I was like, mate, it was shit out. I was didn't get a touch. So we don't have to pretend here. But, it was such a bittersweet moment. And obviously, we lost as well. So, yeah, I remember going home and at home, there was some waterworks
understandable,
made, but just like I remember looking up all the players who didn't get touches in their debuts, and made me feel a little bit better, even though most of them came on after 3/4 time as a sub or something. It's funny one to look back on now.
Absolutely. I mean, from where you started to where you are, I think it's an amazing story of perseverance and hard work and dedication. But is it been these outlets that have kind of held you in good stead throughout your career? Because I feel like you are like a really level-headed, just genuine, nice person who, is the everyday bloke, but also happens to be really talented at footy and art and other things. So, like, was it something you had as an outlet during that time that you practiced to kind of keep you going? Because I know it's like with your career, you sort of built and VFL, leading goal kicker, and then senior side stalwart, and then, onto what you are now. Has it been those things you think that have really helped you along the way? Yeah,
absolutely. I think art's one of them, but I'm lucky. I'm really lucky to have had a really supportive family, and they've supported me with anything and everything that I've done. And they've also ensured that I've been balanced, so that I'm not all the eggs are in one basket. That's something that wouldn't have realised growing up. But small as we had to do something creative. So whether it was you wanted to pick up the guitar, the piano. My brother learnt piano.
This is the kid.
Yeah. And so, my sister had to do something. It was more, she'd do sports. So she picked up fencing for a little bit, like something different.
Off beaten track, a bit quirky.
And I didn't think much of it then that it was, like tactically, trying to get us to do it. It was more, I just thought it was a norm. But then, looking back now, it's actually, I think, helped me set me up in good stead. And I've also been lucky enough to be able to look at situations at times and just take the positive out of it.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, the other thing I think I was really lucky was the fact that I was picked up late in the draft.
Yeah.
There was no expectation for me to become a good player for the club. Obviously, when I came in, I always said at draft, if I didn't get drafted, it's all right. Something else will happen. I enjoy footy for what it is, but at least I get to go on schoolies, or I'd get to go travelling that next year. But if I got picked up, I always said I'd throw absolutely everything into it.
Yeah,
and that set me up well as well because I didn't put too much pressure on that it had to be everything. I don't know why that was, but it even stemmed from my 18s year when I'd go to Chargers training, Oakley Chargers training, and blokes would, guys get there like 2 hours before, an hour and a half before, and they're doing touch and work and everything. I'd be there literally like 10 minutes before training and thinking, like if I'm good enough, I'll play well on the weekend. That's what'll get me drafted. But, that's probably why I went pick 73 because recruiters think, he might not be, but might not be ready enough or to professional take next step. But luckily North took a chance, and my mindset on that I'd throw everything I could into it when I got drafted really set me up well.
Yeah.
But and my mates from school, like having them as well outside. So not everything was footy.
Yeah.
And just being in the same city, state. So guys coming into state, they have to sort of have everything about footy. Like you become best mates with the guys at the club,
Yes.
but then you're also hanging out with them all the time outside the club.
Yeah.
Whereas I was lucky, I had all my schoolmates still, and I could just balance my life a bit more and take the sting out of stuff if stuff wasn't working, and it made me fresh for when I was at the club.
Yes.
And so that combination of being balanced in that sort really set the foundation up for my footy, and then I've just been able to take that. The longer my career's gone on.
But I feel like even, as you say, like sort of the village around you, like community and family examples. So like your uncles, so they're the first twin brothers to ever be in the SAS together. Like, and then obviously they're doing amazing things now. Your auntie's sort of the preeminent voice on working with, children who have autism in Australia. Like, so really eclectic, dynamic sort of family. So I guess you've had these wonderful influences around you. And as you say, your parents have sort of pushed you into certain paths that were not just, one fixed route.
Yeah.
And like, I guess, were your parents influential in terms of getting you into these other activities, like, that pushed you to do the art, or was that something it was innate and you knew that was going to be the thing that you were going to try versus the fencing that your sister did or piano that your brother did? Like, how did you discover the talent for that? And not, I mean, you are talented, so I know it's hard to talk about yourself and say, I'm good at this, but how did you discover, actually, I'm all right, half decent and handy at, putting a bit of ink on canvas?
Well, yeah, you're right. I don't know. They never, as I've said, it's just so lucky that I've had good support network around. But they never, pushed us down a certain way. It was always guided by what we wanted to do. But, if you want to do rep footy or you want to play rep footy, you've also got to have something else on the side, like something creative. And I think, I think back to like primary school, like I always had a little knack for drawing or art. Like I always loved art classes, like even in primary school growing up. So I think that, and it's something you realize that if you're good at it, that's also what gives you a bit of, that's what makes you like it.
Feedback,
if you're no good at it, you often, there's not many people who do stuff that they like doing stuff they're not good at. Yeah. So it's like, I think might have even stemmed from early days when, you get encouraged, like you do something as a kid, a drawing or whatever it is, and they reckon it's unreal and you've got talent in this. And my family was so good at that, not just immediate family, but all my uncles and aunties, like you said, my cousins and stuff. So I think that might have given me the confidence early days. Yeah. And then you realise yourself somewhere down the track that, you've got a talent in this. But like I said, it wasn't just the fact that I was good at it here and there. It was more the feeling you get in it, like you just really present, in a flow state sort of thing, and that was probably the main reasons why I enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then tell me, I guess, going from art and I guess like as a different outlet to something like the outdoors, which I feel like is a big part of your identity as well. So camping, you have in your Insta bio. So where did that come from? Was that something as kids you used to go on an annual pilgrimage, or talk to me about sort of where that came from as well?
Mum and Dad were great at always making. We always had a family holiday each year, wherever it was, and we've been to a fair few different places. And they just did so well to be able to send us all to the schools that we went to, and then also have the opportunities to go on these great family holidays together. And we went to different spots. Like we went over to Europe, went over to China. We've been to New Zealand, overseas. But I reckon some of the best family holidays were like in your own backyard in Australia. Yeah. So like one that really sticks out in mind was we did this Gibb River Road up the top from Kununurra to Broome with a couple of other families. And that was just unreal, like camping there. But those are the stuff that, when I have a family one day, that's the stuff, and I'm sure you can relate, Pearce, with your kids, like that's the stuff that you really treasure. It's and value the memories you make on those sort of trips, and that that's what I really liked it. But they bought a property, like a farm up in. It's like a rec farm, about 80 odd acres up in Taggart, near Lake Eildon, about 9 years ago.
Okay.
And going up there, I've found is like that same almost outlet. You go up there and it's like something about it. You can spend a month up there, a week up there, or just a night, and you come back and you just feel refreshed.
Yeah.
And so camping up there here and there, but you stay in the house up there. But you certainly get the swags out from time to time. But yeah, that whole outdoorsy thing is just another, I guess, outlet or something to take your mind away from footy or appreciate the other things in life, because there's more to life than footy.
Absolutely. And it's interesting you say that about sort of like the, when you might have kids one day, etc. If that's on the cards, like it, they say that, holidays, when you have young children, like they're the things that they stick out because often the school is so, cyclical and it's routine, etc. But it sticks out. So like it's so important to, even as you say, even it's your own backyard or just going somewhere for the weekend or whatever it might be, they're those formative things that you do hold really dear. So I think that's a really great tell. And I guess as far as I understand it, your partner's also quite into it and sort of got you reinvigorated into the outdoors, beyond sort of the family history. Yeah,
she loves it as well. Yeah. We've done little camping trips here and there. We always like just planning a getaway. I think the other thing it's good to have, I've found, is just something to look forward to always. So whether that's a trip at the end of the year or a trip mid-year or going away
We've got the all-inclusive Bali coming up. I'm pretty excited about middle of the year.
Yeah, one of those package deals.
Luxury escapes. No free ads.
Yeah, the renos just win me a bit dry, so it'd be good to cash in on a Bali trip like that. But yeah, that's always been great, and Jins loves that sort of stuff as well. But yeah, you're right with that stuff, and it's sort of continued. And I've had an appreciation for what mum and dad have. As we've moved out of home, all of us. I've got a brother and a sister. We've all moved out.
Yeah.
And we actually just went to South America over the Christmas break for Mum's 60th.
Yeah, amazing.
And you really get an appreciation now of just how special those trips are, to get the whole family together. We all went, did a hike in Patagonia, went to the salt flats in Bolivia and the desert in Chile. Just like really lucky to have those sort of experiences. But to be able to do it with the family, see how special it is for mum and dad. Yeah. Like, as they've gotten a little bit older, that's the stuff that you take with you. You can buy all the stuff you want, but the experiences, like you're saying, that's the stuff that really matters, and how it makes you feel inside, having those trips and experiences.
Absolutely. And I think the dynamic shifts, as you get older. I've certainly found it's become more like a friendship with my parents, and it's like a really cool sort of ascension into that level. And then as you say, it's like, actually able to have a drink together or, talk about something that's a bit more adult, it's just like a lovely dynamic to kind of be a part of. Yeah. I was curious, like I've had some friends who I've traveled with who've also been footballers, and like having to go away and also stick to the program. Like I remember like going, my mate, Dummy, obviously good friend of yours, former teammate, he played a couple of games for North, but I went on a sort of off-season trip with him to America, and it was like going on a military camp. Like, he sold me on this idea, like, we're going to go Vegas and Austin and New York, and I was like, this sounds sick, I'm in. And then it was like this sort of like, crack of dawn, get up, we're bloody, pounding the pavement, we had these bikes, we were running everywhere, we were in the gym, and I was like, mate, it's 1 o'clock. He's like, all right, let's start the day, we're ready for breakfast. And I was like, this sucks. So
it's hardly a holiday.
How do you do that like a family holiday, and also you're sort of hiking, like you're sort of just doing some push-ups in between, having a break, or how's that work?
Depends where you go. That's a good question. Depends where you go. I mean, I was doing, sometimes you just have to makeshift it. It's not just like long continuous runs. You're doing hundreds. So I was doing hundreds in literally on those dirt roads in the desert at sometimes. And then
imagine the locals looking at like, what is this guy
what's
doing?
Going on? And then there's no gyms really in Patagonia. So I was doing the Thunderstruck push-up challenge. Like every time they say that, you do a push-up, trying to hold the position.
Bring something down. Yeah.
But you sometimes got to make shift and make do, because like at the end of the day, you just want to come back in good enough nick, so you're not trying to play catch up with the group, and you're not going to get injured. So over the years, I've found that balance. But early days in my career, I wouldn't do much of the program, and I don't know what it was, but I'd like to enjoy the off-season side of things, and I was lucky because my body never.
Well, sinking was part of the.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So it's all important stuff as well. But
it is important though. You're so right.
I was just lucky that I never, or early days, just didn't get injured in those pre-seasons or have soft tissue things. I've been blessed with like a body that hasn't so far, touch wood, had soft tissue history and stuff like that, which can hurt guys who don't actually get the time and running in the legs. But having said that, the longer my career's gone on, and the more I've realised, I could make something out of this career, and then realise my influence I can have at the club and the
Yeah.
direction the club goes, that's when I've taken the professionalism of football more seriously, and I've actually started to enjoy it. I think it was about 5 years ago or so when I got voted into the leadership group. That was a big moment for me,
Yeah.
special moment, just because it was voted by peers.
Yeah.
They see you in that light, and then you're starting to play really good footy at the level. You get this belief in yourself that you could become a player for the club, and like I said, you can dictate to an extent the direction of the club and where we want to take the group and where we want to take the place. So it was that realization, halfway through my career, which I really started to buy into the more professionalism side of things and getting enjoyment out of, running hard, trying to keep as come back in as good a nick as possible. But like you said, you got to balance it. So I would never go, 3 weeks with doing nothing.
Yeah.
But if I'm doing a hike in Patagonia, I'm getting some fitness out of it, and I'm doing everything I can on the side to try and
maintain a baseline.
maintain a baseline, so
Yeah.
then you can build on it. But it's been a ride in the off seasons over the years.
Oh, it's great, but you've got to, it's so important to live it up. And I remember even the guys would go on it's like the last day of the season, or they've done the exit meetings and it's just straight to Macca's and just like enjoying it. You know what I mean? Because you work so hard and so deserved. I'm curious about also your sort of your influence nowadays, obviously, as you say, sort of ascending into this leadership role and, outlets to other players. Have you seen some other quirky things that guys are doing, maybe as a result, directly or indirectly, of sort of your example? I know that Bull's got his cooking channel, which is amazing, and built this up, this niche following, and it's like a cult brand now, and it's really growing. Has there been some things that guys have sort of started to do that, a bit off the beaten track that you feel like maybe you've had a hand in?
Oh, not particularly that I've had a hand in,
Yeah.
but I feel like just in the AFL in general, they've been better. The more the years go on, the better the AFL Players Association are, and the club is about ensuring guys have something outside of the game.
Yeah.
And then, it was I think it was 2 years ago, I spoke to the young guys about this sort of stuff, like the importance of having a balance and how much that can actually help with performance. You can think that doing everything, religiously, and you have to do it a certain way and be 100% professional all the time is the way to go. And for some guys that works. My whole philosophy with it is just trying to find and understand what works for you, because what works for me will be different to what works for Harry Sheasel, will be different to what works for Cam Zerha and everyone in the team. So, but you have to find what that is. So, so it's that's more my philosophy of it. But in terms of actually influencing guys to do that, it's more the club. Like the club encourages it. We've got a great player development manager in Corey Maynard.
Yeah.
And he's great.
He was a basketballer as well, didn't
he?
he?
Yeah, he
yeah.
was. And he played at the D's
amazing.
for a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's been great at encouraging that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And having a balance because it is important.
I feel like North's very progressive in that way, which is brilliant. And I know you also painted the kangaroo in the gym, was one of your earlier projects, so that's pretty awesome. So the influence is there at all times.
Yeah, I suppose so. It is good. It was nice to it's a little mark you can hopefully leave at the club.
Absolutely.
Because they were doing a bit of renovation works and they wanted a proper artist there to do it. And a couple of the boys just suggested my name, and I think the club thought they could get a little bit extra. Cut a bit of savings on it, but for me it was actually it was awesome to do, because even hopefully after I'm gone, it's just a piece that's still there.
Yeah,
they might buff over it, but who knows?
No, mate, there'll be tangible takeaways, and I think there'll be a lot of intangibles that you'll certainly impart to the guys. So there'll be a great legacy, I've got no doubt. And then looking ahead with that, have you had any thoughts around what life may look like? I mean, obviously you probably don't have to, because you're right in it right now, and there's probably a lot of success to come in this career that you're currently in. But have you sort of started to think about what it could look like, life outside of footy?
Yeah, certainly. You have thoughts about it, because you want to set it up as much as you can. The longer your career goes on, who knows when it finishes up. But yeah, it'll depend how footy finishes, I reckon, for me. If it finishes on a high note, or with a heap of enjoyment, then I might want to stay in the game.
Yep.
Always thought a GM role would be good in a footy club. I like the aspect of that.
I heard Tom McDonald's he was doing a program, it was like a management. There's a program that they run, the AFL, and he's. Yeah. I don't know if you've heard about that or.
I have. Yeah. But yeah, I'd be all ears to doing something like that after. But I'm chipping away at a project management degree at the moment, which is taking a while. It's a 4-year degree, but you're just nearly there. I got 1 year equivalent left, so doing it part time. It'll take 2 years.
Yeah.
I keep keep doing my art stuff. Who knows? I always think I don't know if I could be an artist full time, just because it is a little bit solitary at times. But having that as a side hobby is always great. Yeah, so it's all a little bit up in the air.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, I might want to take a heap of time away from the game if it doesn't end on the highest note. But yeah, it'll all sort of play out. As long as we've got some stuff in the background going, you want to make the transition as easy as possible. But hopefully for now, it's still a little while away.
I'm sure it is. I mean, like with the art per se, have you ever thought about exhibiting? So I look at sort of the backdrop here, and it feels like there's a beautiful collection. But you're saying, well, you probably want to have a theme, etc. But is that something that might be a goal one day for you?
I think so. Yeah, I'd love to, while I'm playing at some stage, have an exhibition of some sort, whether it's a big one or a small one. But yeah, it's about finding the time to do it, because once uni kicks up again, that's often what your days off look like, doing a bit of uni. But yeah, once that's either that degree's finished or in an off season, if I really go ham on some painting or get into a flow or rhythm with it and get a good subject matter to paint, I can churn them out pretty quick when you get in that state. But it's about having the right subject matter. And I often like doing art for other people, so commission stuff, whereas I haven't really done many since school for the purpose of just putting together a body of work. But it is definitely something, I'm interested in and would like to do before my career's up.
And then I guess something else you're quite talented at, which is sort of being well noted and documented, is your impressions and impersonations. So I think it's most notably like what Purple you've done. Was it Rafa at some point? And then Trump's been more recent. So are you cooking anything else up at the time being? Or
I got to get. I mean, I'd like to get Andrew Dillon. I reckon he's gettable. So we'll have to work on that and bring it out at the right time. You've got to be careful with the AFL CEO. But I reckon I could be able to get him.
You've got it.
But yeah, no, it's it's something that people do. I found they love them, but I sometimes feel like I overdo it. Like, you don't want to saturate the impersonation. You got to have some fresh ones. So each year, if you can just have another one here or there, to pop up at the right times, it's good fun.
How do you do it? So I mean, I'm just curious about like the process. Is it something that you sort of like you just hear that voice, like background noise, making dinner or whatever, and you go, oh, that's, or have you got sort of an intention and a plan? And is it in the shower you're practicing, or where does it come from?
It's a combination of things. So, I mean, Damo's one came from just being in the car, and I had the radio on, which I don't often have on, but his voice was speaking for a while. And then afterwards, I sort of turned it off or turned it down or whatever, and then found myself just like talking a bit like he must have been talking about North, and I was emulating what he was saying about North or something to myself. And then I usually just do a Snapchat to the boys, see if it's any good. And then the reactions I get from that really dictate whether I'll push forward with it. But I knew that was pretty good at the start. It sounded exactly like I heard it. But then other ones might be from. I mean, I used to be able to impersonate a fair few people at the club in my first few years.
Right, yeah.
And so, like, whenever there was a break, it was almost a way to get in with the group, because, like, whenever there was a break in meetings, it'd be like Sylvie up the front, and I had to do one up the front.
That's great.
Of whoever they wanted. And, but yeah, so it's more like, and people might ask, or they go like, oh, can you get him or them? And I think, oh, no, I couldn't. And then, like, maybe later in the day, I'll be thinking about it, like, have a little crack at it. And if it's any good, I'll send out the feelers. So I'll have to do the same with an Andrew Dillon one at some stage. But yeah, it's a combination of all things. And I reckon the Rafa one, it's almost like an impersonation of of Elliot Loney's impersonation.
And he's so good at
talented.
it.
And I just found I could do it all right as well. So it's a combination of different things.
Does it lend itself to like, I mean, artists like singing? Like, do you have a voice, outside of that? I'm not going to make you put you on the spot to have you belt out a yarn, maybe a Sheeran classic.
Nah, that's what I don't have. I don't have the voice. Like tinkering around on the guitar. My brother's got a good voice actually. But I don't have the rasping tones.
Mate, that could be good though. You have the exhibition and the kids playing a bit of music as you enter in. I feel like there's something going on here for the show.
A bit of a visionary.
Yeah, it's a vision. Got a dream.
Pick your brain for those.
Optimistic. No, thanks, mate. And I guess something I'm curious about again is like your ability, like very generous with your time, and even with doing this, right? Like I feel like I kind of cold called you and was like, "Hey, I'm trying to sell you with the elevator pitch on who else is on it." And you're like, "Mate, I'll do it anyway." And I remember your auntie, lovely Mel, was just saying like how generous you are with young fans in particular. Like, what is it about that? Is that something like, again, an example that your parents sort of I guess imparted to you, or is it just like a feeling of like that's the right thing to do? But where does your generosity of time and spirit come from? I know it's a silly like loaded question because you're like, well, but
I think I mean I just remember as a kid the few times that I would have interacted with an AFL footballer, and they come every now and then they come down to a football training. Good
ones, bad ones. Can you give us a shocker? No, I'm only joking.
I reckon, But the thing is, you always remember. I don't know. You remember the way people make you feel, and you always remember the guys who put in a bit more time, and they just leaves a lasting impact, even if it's something small, an extra few kicks, extra few handballs with a fan, with a young kid, really makes an impression on them. Yeah. And then I was just always blown away. Like when I first got to the club, really naive, came in, and I just think I am just a kid who just came from school, like just a normal guy. Yeah. And you got all these people who instantly just love you because you're playing for North Melbourne. You're on the list on the team, and they love you, and they are there to support you, and they're pumping you up and all this stuff. And it's just unreal, that feeling you get from fan interaction like that. And then so a part of me is like, I'm just like them. I can just play footy. That's the only difference. And they're so proud to be North Melbourne people, North Melbourne fans. But yeah, a combination of giving back to them for those reasons, but also the lasting impact you can have on, a kid who just, they look up to you and they'll remember for life if you just have a little kick with them on the field, spend a little bit more time. It's something as small as, instead of just signing the ball or the footy card and going, like asking them, who do you play for? Yeah. And just having like a tiny conversation like that, it's so easy to do. Yeah. And something that, I would have really remembered as a kid, and I did remember as a kid. So probably just for those reasons, no different to the average person, just can play footy here and there.
Mate, I love that notion. It's funny you say that people remember how you make them feel, because that's like the one lesson that my mum would always, like, she's a prep teacher, and has been her whole life, and it was the one thing she'd always say, and I know it's not like she didn't quote it, right? But she would always say, boys, like, you can say or do anything, but it's how you make people feel that's, most something about your character.
Because they remember that stuff.
They do, yeah. Well, we did as well. Like, it's the one lesson, and I love that she makes a conscious effort at the end of every year with her preppies, like, guys, that's my one message and takeaway. Yeah. So it's awesome that you're a living, breathing example of it. Yeah, and on the fans front, a funny yarn for you, but I remember like there was a year where we loved the Kanga video, the fans, the super fans, but that was like a thing we'd do at the pub, like the boys would so you'd lose the boys and you'd hear like Kanga, and then I'd hear it, mate. Yeah. So they're class. So I hope you get to sit down with those guys one day. Very generous with your time. But I guess rounding out, there's a question we ask all our guests, and you probably have semi-answered it, but we have a segment sponsored by the Merry People Oberon Boot, which is my wife's business. And it's just your best adventure you've been on, whether that's sort of, you've obviously gone on some amazing trips and travel, but is there like, could even be a night out that's happened or whatever it may be. I can tell you a good one if you're short of ideas, but is there the best adventure you've ever had you can remember?
I mean, it got to go, I know I've already spoken about it, but probably got to go this most recent one. It's just in mind. And like I said, Mum had been planning it for ages. Yeah. 60th over in South America. And just so much effort went into it to get it right. But I only had the 2.5 week block where we could go over, so it was jam packed. Almost needed a holiday after the holiday.
Yeah, of course.
But it was just so action packed. And then, like I said, my sister's been living up in Canberra, studying at ACU there.
Awesome.
Or ANU. Yeah, ACU.
ACU is the nursing one here.
Yeah,
so
ANU.
So they do nursing as a course. Yeah.
And up there, and then now she's in Darwin. So I don't get to see her as much, but she was on the trip with us, which was just awesome. My brother, his partner, me and Gina, my partner, and Mum and Dad, and one of Greta's friends who was over there at the time as well, my sister. And just like the dynamic all together, it was just awesome. Where we hadn't had a family holiday in a while, but and always doing stuff. And then, that hike, it was just awesome because you get to really connect with each other again, like you did when in the early days when we were all together living under the one roof.
Yeah.
And so that one's fresh in the mind. So that was a really special trip that, will always stick in my mind.
What's the local drop in Patagonia? Like, we'll get to the sinking if it's okay to talk about briefly. You're not promoting alcohol, responsible consumption, of course, but what's the local ale there in the mountains?
They had a brewery in the mountain ranges in Patagonia.
You're kidding.
And it was awesome because you do these 25k hikes up into the mountain range and back, and they were like, even I thought I'd be fine, but even my hips and like just my body was ache at the end of the day. But it's not that good aching when you've exercised or exerted. Yeah. And then afterwards, the beers there, they had these like little places, refugios, where you'd stay. It's like campsites or campgrounds. Yep. Some with like these sort of elevated rooftop tents, or you could just stay on the ground. We had the rooftop tents, which were, it was a nice, comfy enough place to stay after a tough day of hiking. Yeah. And then these refugio joints, it was like these little lodges where they'd feed you and you could have beers off tap there. So and good. Some of the beers after, a day of, intense hiking, they just earned, like the ones that when you've earned them, they taste the best. Oh, they do. Just cold. And I just couldn't believe we're in Patagonia off the tap. Yeah. Sinking a few beers with, the people you love. It's just as good as it gets.
Nothing better. Like the altitude, does that get to you in terms of like with the hops and stuff? Does that play with it, or is it,
At times it did, yeah. Not so much in Patagonia, but in Bolivia, there's about nearly 5,000 meters above sea level. Yeah. And so, you're lightheaded. Yeah, you don't want to have too many frothies. Yeah. You don't want to mix it with the altitude. But but at Patagonia, it was they were probably better there to have them.
And that's the best beer you've ever earned, do you reckon? Like in terms
it's up there. Jeez, I'd have to really sit down. I don't want to do the other ones any injustice by not mentioning them. There'll be a few around the traps, but it's a memorable one, that's for sure. Yeah. Just the scenery. Yeah, if Schooner Scorer did a review there, I reckon he'd be close to the 10.
Mate, he's killing it on and off the field, it's fair to say, I reckon.
Absolutely.
Now, a couple of little rapid fires for you. So, do you have a typical coffee order? Like, what's your go-to in the morning?
I'm an iced latte, man.
Iced latte?
Yeah, iced latte. Not too much milk, though. Just, don't like them too milky. Okay. Strong iced latte.
And in winter as well, you'll still have that?
Oh, it's a good question. I mean, 80% of my coffees would be iced lattes. But if it's freezing cold day, I get a hot.
Warm the soul.
Yeah,
right.
Latte, strong latte. Yeah.
Okay. And what would be your sort of like best ideal day look like when you've got an off day, you're not doing podcasts as favours or your uni assignments? What does that look like for Suv?
Oh, good question. Sleep in.
Yep.
Like a sleep in because you need it.
Yep.
Take the dog for a spin. I just got an e-bike actually, which is elite. Got a Kelpie at home, so he gets 2 walks a day.
Two birds, one stone.
And sometimes can't be stuffed walking after main training, so I just get on the bike and he just runs next to it. So take Reg for a walk with the bike, come back, get stuck into some art, be in that flow state, just find a state.
Love it.
When would I pull up stumps? Maybe it's hard because when you're in that state, you just want it to keep going, but sometimes I got to pull up stumps 3 in the Arvo. Yep. Go upstairs, cook a meal with a bit of leftovers, big bolognese, garlic bread, sit down, watch a TV show with Gina. And then,
happy days.
That'd be good. Yeah, good break in the week.
Unreal. Is there anything you're watching, listening, or reading right now? Like what shows you're watching with Gina, or music you're listening to when you're doing your art?
Nah, I mean we've watched a lot of shows over time. We're looking for a fresh TV show.
What do you like?
I like the quality stuff.
Like prestige, sort of like type of TV. Like
yeah. Well, I like favorite TV shows. I like Breaking Bad.
Yeah. Okay.
True Detective season 1.
Oh, epic.
Unbelievable. Yeah. I actually enjoyed House of Cards.
Oh, yeah.
House of Cards is good.
Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, Kevin Spacey. Game of Thrones, of course.
Yeah.
Like those Game of Thrones spin-offs.
Did you like the Night of the Seven Kingdoms?
I started that.
That's really good.
All,
Mate, stick with that.
Kick with it. Yeah. Got a few good reviews recently.
It's like one of the most highly rated. Like,
really?
Since sort of some of the more popular episodes.
Yeah, I'll have to persist with it.
Mate, it's really good. I'd recommend that. I'm trying to think what else is like prestige that I like. So HBO usually has good properties.
HBO's always
Do you watch The Pit? Yeah. Do you watch The Pit?
I've seen a couple episodes of The Pit. That's unreal.
That's pretty good. Another one is Industry is like pretty hectic, but I don't know if you've...
I haven't seen Industry.
It's like pretty full throttle all things. Yeah. It's like young, like stock traders. It's got all the all the bits, all the trappings.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but that's all like kind of elevated TV, like Succession as well.
Succession, that's up there. In fact, that's nearly number one, Succession.
Is it?
Unbelievable. Yeah, I loved that.
Oh, so good. I had her on a plane,
good.
Sarah Snook.
Oh, really?
Shiv Roy, we were flying to America, and like the only other time we've ever been able to fly a bit pointier. And she was like getting smashed like a couple of seats back. We had a little baby. I was like, oh man, I'm like trying to watch Succession, like, and like she's behind me, like enjoying a drink. And
were you in business?
Yeah, we were for the one and only time.
He doesn't do things.
No, there's only time, mate. I got to test you, but it was like, mate, it's so memorable. Oh, my God, Shiv Roy, I've got it on the screen, Succession, and I've got a screaming baby. I'm like, this doesn't get much better.
That's top notch.
That's it was unreal. But anyway, mate, it's been awesome having you. I really appreciate your time, Mike and Joel on the mics and the cameras. Epic job. Thanks for joining us, guys, on None of Your Business, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks so much for having us. Cheers, Pearce. It's been great.
Thanks, mate. Good man.
None of your business. None of your business. None of your business. None of your business.